Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about some winter tips and tricks for your car. Now, it's been a while since I haven't posted a video, and the reason behind that is just that I've been quite busy lately, and it's also quite cold nowadays that in the past couple of days we've been hit with a few snowstorms. But as you may have read from the title, this video is all about winter tips and tricks for your cars and how to basically maintain and take care of your car during the winter months. Before we begin with the video, I'm going to show what I've recently done to my car. So recently I just installed this carbon fiber lipped ducktail spoiler on my car. I've made a whole separate video about this, so you guys can go check it out on my other socials, and I've also posted it on YouTube as well. I know on video it looks pretty easy how I installed it, but in reality it actually took me over a day to install it. And the reason why is that I kind of messed up where to place the 3M tape, so I had to go and buy 3M tape again. And then I was finally able to get it installed. But without further ado, let's begin with the video. Now, I'm not gonna lie, winter is a tough time for our cars. Many people do put away their sports cars or their nice exotic cars for the winter. But however, most of us car guys tend to drive our cars in the winter. But however, most of us car guys don't put away our cars for the winter. And the reason behind that is because A, we know that cars are meant to be driven. It doesn't matter what type of car you have. Now, there are certain rules to this exception, such as if you have a very high-end exotic or a classic, some that's kind of been preserved its whole life, then it kind of makes sense that you don't drive it during the winter months. However, most of us do not tend to fall into the category of where we have a high-end exotic or a classic or something that's been preserved its whole life or a car show. We basically tend to drive cars. I'm not saying that normal cars, yeah, some people do have some really nice cars. But however, let's say if you have a BMW M5 or a Mercedes E63S, some people might think that, oh, you should just put it away for the winter. Wrong. They're meant to be daily driven. Versus with exotics or classics, I can understand that, yeah, it can be tough to drive them in the winter. But anyways, my first tip is to wash your car on a regular basis. Now, yes, I haven't washed my car in about a week, and the reason behind that is because the roads have been quite shitty lately, so it's not really worth it. The car is just going to get dirty in within about an hour or so. But however, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't wash your car at all during the winter months. You see, winter is the time when you should be washing your car the most, and the reason behind that is salt. In most areas where it snows, they tend to put salt on the roads to de-ice them, so therefore it's less slippery, and therefore there's less accidents. But however, we all know that salt will eat up your car by causing it to rust. So therefore, you want to wash it on a regular basis, so therefore it gets all that salt off of the car and it doesn't cause your car to rust. And the way how I wash my car during the winter months is that yes, I still wash it at home, yes, I still wash it in my garage, and yes, I still use the 2-bucket method. Now, some of y'all might be like, how can you still wash your car at home during the winter when you use the garden hose and it's pretty much frozen and you also don't have a garden hose in your garage? Well, I'm going to be showing you my trick on how I do that. So the way how I do it is that I basically use this adapter that I bought off of Amazon. This basically screws into your sink's tap. You have to remove the original head off, and then this screws in, and then you can screw in your garden hose. So therefore you have an in-home garden hose. And using this method, I can also control the temperature. The ideal temperature for washing your car in a cold environment is use warm water, not hot water, because that could be dangerous. You could end up cracking your glass, but warm water is fine. Now, yes, I don't have a heated garage, but warm water is good. It keeps me warm, it keeps the environment warm, and therefore it doesn't also cause damage to the car. Yes, it also melts off most of that snow. And this end is basically the quick connector of the garden hose, which quickly connects and disconnects onto your pressure washer. Now, you wouldn't want to do this if the temperature is below -15 degrees Celsius. But however, on a consistent basis, I see that this method actually works the best for me. It gives my car that perfect clean wash. Now, I wash my car on a bi-weekly basis, and the reason behind that is that A, I have a ceramic coating, and the second reason is that after 2 weeks, that's when it gets really dirty, and that's when I know that it's time for a wash now. Anyways, on to tip number 2, and that is to have a set of rubber floor mats in your car. And the reason behind that is that first of all, these are easier to clean, and the second thing is that these will basically save your carpets from getting drenched from all of that winter salt and snow, and it will also save your floors so that they don't rust out, because eventually if your carpet gets wet and all of that water tends to leak into your car's metal, it can cause that to rust out. So definitely do have a set of rubber floor mats for your car. And I tend to run these all year round just because they're easier to clean than carpeted floor mats. I personally do not like carpeted floor mats in cars. I believe that rubber or diamond stitched leather is the way to go when it comes to floor mats. Now, in Canada, rubber floor mats come as a standard no-cost option in our cars. However, that's not the case in the US, and the reason behind that is because in most US states, it doesn't tend to snow or it's not as cold compared to Canada, and the weather over there isn't as harsh compared to Canada. So therefore, it would obviously make sense to have it as a cost option rather than a standard option. Anyways, on to tip number 3, and that is to have a ceramic coating or some sort of protective sealant on your car. And the reason behind that, it makes it easier to clean and maintain your car. And it's definitely needed when your car is going to get dirty from day-to-day driving in the winter. Now on my car, the ceramic coating is still doing great after 2.5 years. That's because I take care of it on a consistent basis. Anyways, on to tip number 4. Now most people do not have a garage to park their cars. Many people live in apartments or like they park on their driveways because they keep stuff in their garage. So therefore, how do you prevent your doors or your hood or your trunk, anything of your car to not freeze during the winter? Well, the easy solution is to coat your weather stripping in silicone, both inside and outside of the door. For your hood, you want to coat both the lower and the upper hatch as well. Coat any weather strippings in your hood area. The same goes for your trunk as well. And the reason why you want to do that, let's say just in case if you got a dead battery, if you can't pop your hood, how are you going to give it a jump? And the same thing applies with your trunk as well. Let's say you get into an emergency situation, and if you can't pop open your trunk, how are you going to access the necessary things that are going to help you get out of that emergency? Now, I do have to point this out as a bonus that if you have a car with frameless windows, you definitely do want to get this top part of the glass coated with silicone as well, and the edges as well, and the bottom rubber seal as well. And the reason why you want to do that is because frameless windows aren't your traditional windows. The window goes up and down depending on if the door is closed or if the door is open. Now, cars that have frameless windows, when you close the door, the window budges up a little bit, so therefore it can create a seal against the body of the car, so therefore water or stuff like that don't leak into the car. And it's the same thing when you open the door, the window will go slightly down, so therefore it can create clearance so you can open the door. Now let's say that window is frozen and it doesn't go down. You can't then open your door. How are you going to get into your car? So that's why with cars that have frameless windows, it's definitely a must to have them coated with silicone, so therefore the window can go down and you can open your door and get into your car. Now I love cars with frameless windows, but however it is a pain in the ass to own them during the winter months. Now these were my tips and tricks for the winter on how to take care of your car during the winter months. Now I'm going to be going over what's my experience like driving my car in the winter. For starters, I absolutely love it. I think that my car is absolutely good in the winter. It does amazing in the winter. I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. The reason why I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 is because it's a front wheel drive car. I don't have the all wheel drive version, so therefore I do struggle in certain conditions, like in places where they don't clean up the snow, where there's a lot of deep built up snow. It does tend to kind of struggle like driving on those type of roads, and yes, I have kind of gotten stuck in the past as well. But however, as long as you got winter tires, you should be good. Now, the times when I did get stuck in the snow is typically the times when it snowed earlier than expected and I didn't get my tires changed. So therefore, embarrassingly, I got stuck on my own driveway. Now, yes, my car is quite low for being a Corolla, because the thing is, like, Corollas are typically meant to target like people with families, but it doesn't target car enthusiasts as much. Now, I'm not saying that car enthusiasts don't drive Corollas. A lot of car enthusiasts do drive Corollas. It's actually gotten quite popular over the years to build and mod. However, as for someone with just normal day-to-day driving, I feel like the car is quite low. So therefore, it makes it kind of easier to get stuck in the snow. Anyways, that's all it for today's video. I hope y'all found it helpful. Like and subscribe for more car content, and I'll see y'all in the next video.